Hello, hello, beautifuls. Welcome back. I actually have no plan for this video, so this is just going to be a transmission, riff, whatever you want to call it. But right before I decided to sit down and film, this is something I knew I had to talk about today. And that is for those of you going through, right now especially, another level of your divine feminine awakening. Now, this may be your first awakening, your first opening into the divine feminine, the first glimpse at what's underneath all of the conditioning, all of the programming that we've been told to put on top of it. Or this may be your third round, right? Or your infinite round, your 10th, your 20th round through this. And I really want to invite you into, before we go into this video, checking in with your body, as I just did, and noticing where you feel tense, noticing where you feel resistance, and allowing yourself to soften, allowing yourself to physically open, not just in your mind, but, not just in you receiving this video, but I really want you to open on a body level, the level of embodiment. And so I wanted to talk about the beautiful and somewhat chaotic and destructive can be any of these things, and beautifully blissful divine feminine awakenings. I've been riding the waves of one right now, and I just want to share a little bit about how to know you're going through one, or really how to alchemize this experience into your highest good versus letting it be this thing that kind of takes you over and maybe destroys things in a bad way, and you feel powerless, you feel out of control, you feel like you have no, like it's not happening for you, but you feel like it's happening to you. So I want to help you shift that, where, this could even be another level of activation for this, but this is happening for you. This is 100% happening for you. And what may and probably is occurring for you is, first of all, and what I really came here to talk about, is this disruption of standards for the best. This raising of standards in a way. Like this happens with a feminine awakening, how your standards raise in this, in a way where you can't go backwards. In a way where it's almost irritating because you feel like you can't eat the same foods anymore. Like you can't listen to music with lyrics that are just degrading and so shallow, and you can't listen to it anymore. It doesn't feel good anymore, even if you used to like it. You can't listen to it anymore. Or you can't drink alcohol anymore. You can't even stomach doing these things. And this is what happens during a divine feminine awakening. These are just some examples, because your standards are so shaken up, like in the best ways. Even though it feels frustrating, it feels like you don't even like the things that you used to like. Like, who am I? Right? We put so much emphasis on our identity, on like what we're into, our hobbies, what we like, and then all of that gets destroyed. And so it's like you're just left with raw truth of that you either get to face or continue to avoid or continue to prance around like it's not there. And you get left with this core, like it feels like a wound, like this raw openness, where you either get to open wider, open deeper. You get to do that. You have that option in this. Or you also have the option of going back and kind of numbing yourself and pretending like you like the old things, pretending that you like the same sorts of conversations with people that. I had a girl in her beautiful goddess in her. She mentioned that she felt like she was on this like lower level thought form plane where she was having these conversations with people and they no longer felt aligned. And she wants to embody this higher level of, depth and consciousness in her conversations, even in her daily life. And this is one of those things that also happens in this Divine Feminine Awakening, where you're like, this just doesn't do it for me anymore. And what I really want to touch on here, of course, is relationships. How the Divine Feminine really holds the mirror in front of you. This is something that can be so triggering. I hate it sometimes. Just going to be real with you. I hate it sometimes, but it's always there for you, is holding up that mirror for you to see what you've been accepting that is like not aligned with this next level version of yourself that's calling you in, with this more embodied feminine woman that you desire to become in such a heart-centered way. It's holding up a mirror to the performances, the good girl performances that you've been putting on, whether on social media, maybe you're showing up filtered, maybe you're a creator, an influencer, and you're showing up filtered because you're scared of what one person even would think of you. That you are going to disrupt the good girl image that you've put on. It's holding up a mirror to your relationships saying, is this really this sacred union where we are both growing together and seeing each other in our triggers and solving the triggers in our own sovereign states of being, in our own inner wholeness? Or is this just another avoidance relationship, like a situationship? That's kind of what that is. Is this showing you, it's her, the Divine Feminine, holding up a mirror, showing you in your dating life, in your love life, with the men that you're attracting, what is this saying about you? And not in a sense of like, are you worthy, not worthy? It's more about how are you viewing yourself as worthy? Because inherently, you are. You are the feminine essence. You are aligned with the vibration or frequency of abundance, of love. Like, you are love. You aren't just aligned with it, you are it. And so, are you living that way? That's what this is here to hold up a mirror to. Are you living that way? And for me, this is really what's come up in this current wave of feminine awakening for me. And I don't know if this is something going on for everyone right now. But what has come up for me is this, I guess you could call it sacred rage, where it's not just kind of looking at these things and, it's been all different things for me, but it's not just looking at these things and saying, and immediately identifying with them and being like, oh yeah, like that's so easy to change, right? No. It's a dissolving of illusions. Now let me try to put this into better words, because this is all hard to logically explain. Like, we're talking about the feminine here. The masculine you can explain with logic and words, it makes sense. But the feminine is very hard to do this with, so bear with me here. But in a feminine awakening, like when you are not living as love, as abundance, as the feminine, as the Divine Feminine, as truth, then you are living under the shroud of lies, of scarcity, of programming, of societal programming and conditioning, where you're playing small, you're keeping yourself small, you're operating in these, what I like to describe in her was lower levels of thought forms, where you're kind of playing around in the realm of this happened to me, therefore, not saying this isn't real, but you're like putting so much focus on it that it's your story, where you're like, this is so real, this is what happened to me, this is why I can't have what I want. or I have to work harder in order to have what I want, or like these very linear, logical thoughts that you may have either in this survival mode, or like just coming out of this survival mode. And in this divine feminine awakening, through some form or another, whether you're seeing one of my videos, whether you're seeing content, whether you are, experiencing this through, I don't know, journaling, and this comes to you, however this is coming to you, you will get glimpses of this mirror where there are potential triggers. So the more higher dimensional thought forms, I guess you could say, I like the way David Data has his stages, where it's like first stage, second stage, third stage. Third stage being the more like conscious and intentional polarity. And, third stage feminine being one of those. And so it's kind of, you have to like face a lot of triggers to get there. Because when we initially have these triggers come up for us, this is where the sacred rage can come in, right? The destruction, the dissolving of illusions. That is the purpose of it. And also, underneath anger, there's always a desire. So this is where this really comes in. This is not to sit there and just take over you and like you're only in this state of very unpleasant anger. But what it's there for is to show you the hidden desires that are hidden in the subconscious, that are hidden in places, or even beliefs that are holding you back, like limiting beliefs are hidden in these spaces in the subconscious where you don't even know that they're there. And so what this does, you will see, the physical reflecting this back to you, where it's showing you, it's mirroring back to you. That's what this all is. But in a feminine awakening, it's like all happening all at once, very intensely. But it will be mirroring back to you all of the stuff in the subconscious that you're not even aware of. Except for when it's giving you that information. And so most of us see this as limiters, where it's like, oh, well, I've seen this in my reality, therefore I don't get to have what I want. And this is just an absolute lie that the feminine awakening has come to dissolve. And so in this, when you lean into this dissolving of illusions, or the destruction of illusions, or the destruction of lower standards, really, like not goddess level standards. And when I say that, I want to go into this too, but maybe I'll make a whole nother video on this on what that actually means. But when you are putting up with less than that, or allowing yourself to receive that, accept that, allowing it to mean something about you and like solidifying it into your identity, the divine feminine is there to shake that up, to make sure that it doesn't get solidified, right? And so the divine feminine will raise your standards for you. This is not something that you have to go and necessarily even try to do. As long as you are open and committed to opening deeper and opening more and allowing yourself to infinitely go more and more and more into that feminine essence and get closer to, not like it's this thing that's out there, right? It is, it's like everything. But more so, you getting closer to your actual feminine essence that you, on a soul level, resonate with. Like that's the pole in polarity, masculine, feminine, that you resonate with, that you were born as. And as women, since, obviously most of us are really identified with that feminine pole, we are conditioned out of this through all of the systems. If you think about it, I'm just going to go straight deep into it, not holding anything back. I'm going to start even further than in school. When you are born into this world, Now, if you have friends that think like you, I'm sure you're pretty open-minded if you're on this video, at least to this point. And if you have friends that think like you and you are like, oh my God, yes, share this with them here, please. But I want to start at the beginning, where the feminine, typically, right, the women are the life givers. Like, we literally create life in our wombs, obviously with the help of the masculine, but we grow this life and we birth. Like, we are the portal into the world. And this is where to really shake things up and to really have that divine feminine awakening start here is at birth. The system that no one questions, the system that has terrified everyone into believing that birth is dangerous, that you shouldn't trust your body, that you shouldn't trust your intuition. As someone who had a full wild pregnancy, no medical intervention, that was one of the biggest divine feminine awakenings I could ever have, was trusting myself over any sort of fucking system and anything telling me what was going on that knew more than me that was going on in my body. Absolutely not. And going on with my baby, no. And this is probably one of the most triggering things that I can say. So I told you I'm going in deep. But from there, we're then just shifted into this system of the whole medical system of separating the mother from the baby, and that initial, like that intuition, right? Especially if you're a woman, right? A woman born a woman to your mother, and having that connection messed with and severed, and not having your mother there fully in her divine feminine power, like her intuition in this, raising you without the input of, I mean, I love men, okay? I love the masculine. I love men. I respect men. But a woman is the portal into this world, and no one knows that better than the woman. So introduce into this system, that medical system that is just the knowledge of what men have intellectualized about the feminine. You cannot intellectualize the feminine. And so this is detrimental from birth. I'm very, very passionate about this. And then from there, we go into the school system. And women are told that our minds, I mean, obviously being intelligent is very great and important, but we're told that is superior. That is superior. The logical mind is so superior. Like, emotions don't fucking matter. I'm so passionate about this, if you can't tell. But they don't matter. Your intuition doesn't matter. Like, all of that is just second best. So even more are we trained into that. And then we go on into university, college, whatever. We've already been trained at this point. Like, we're in. We're conditioned. And now it's time to pay the universities lots and lots of money to get an achievement. A reward. I sometimes look at my diploma and laugh. I finished this system. I was indoctrinated, but we're then in this system of very masculine way of learning and putting value onto yourself. And let's not even go into the whole like beauty side of things, right? I mean, beauty is amazing. It's a great part of the feminine, but yeah, don't even have time to go there today. And then we are masculinized. Why can't I say that word? You know what I'm saying? Even more so in this. And then shoved into a corporate system, which, thank God, I never had to have a corporate job. My husband's amazing, and he's provided for me ever since I graduated college. But we're in at that point, right? Like, you're in. Maybe you're in it now. Like, you're in. But if you're resonating with this, like, mentally you're breaking out. Mentally you are freeing yourself. But this is really, I mean, this is, in my opinion, what needs to be broken open from the beginning in order to really have the feminine break through the systems, right? And so I never see anyone go into this. So I'm like, oh, this feels vulnerable. This feels very raw. But if you're resonating with this, like, please leave a comment, because you are my people for sure. The ones who question everything, the ones who, see the truths, right? And the thing is too, is that everything is made, and this is not to be like victim, like, oh my God, we're so oppressed or anything like that. No, we're hilariously, insanely powerful as women, as the divine feminine. And the thing is that all of these systems have this stuff like set up to gaslight that the feminine is even important. And I wouldn't even say they're like masculine systems. I think they have a masculine structure to them, but it does a disservice to the divine masculine too. Anything that hurts one hurts the other. So this is like, this is the wave and the level of feminine awakening, awareness, intuition, like, that I am coming into, that I've been in for quite a while. Pregnancy, birth, that whole portal has, I mean, if you want an awakening, get pregnant and have a baby. And especially a wild pregnancy, and free birth sort of thing, you will meet God, really. And all of this is the mirror, though. All of this is the mirror. It's always holding a mirror up to you, almost laughing in your face, like, are you going to notice? Are you going to notice how powerful you are? Are you going to notice how this is false? Are you going to know, like, you are truth. So if something doesn't feel right, which all of this disconnects us from our bodies, all of it. So if you've been in every indoctrination system that there has been, and probably 99% of people have. So of course, how are we supposed to be connected to our bodies, which tell us everything? Our bodies tell us, when you have these awakenings, you reconnect to your body. And so your bodies are telling you if you're with the right man or not. Your body is telling you what conflicts you are going through the symptoms that you're experiencing. Your body is telling you these things. But we like to pathologize all of it. We like to intellectualize all of it. And what's funny is that it's actually all quite simple and literal and intuitive. But since we have been so ripped from that, you gaslight yourself in these awakenings. You gaslight yourself, like, you're in the awakening and you're like, no, I'm not going to fully go into that. Like, that's scary. That's wrong. That's not right. I mean, this is deep. This is deep. This is in our cells. So, I mean, it is in the blueprint of your nervous system. There is no doubt. So this is deep. What a feminine awakening is. I started the beginning of this video so safe. And I was like, woo, we're going there. What a feminine awakening is the deprogramming from all of this. In the modern day world. It really is. It's the deprogramming from all of this. I mean, we have to be honest. That's what it is. We talk about, the deprogramming, the deprogramming for wanting to what? No one's going to go that deep. I mean, maybe they haven't even opened to that. Open their mind to it. It's fine. It's very jarring, right? But they aren't willing to, most people aren't willing to go there. They probably aren't even realizing this. And so then it's like, okay, cool. What are we deconditioning ourselves from? The masculine? No, it's not even that. It's not even that. It goes so much deeper. And it's all unraveling. But this is what disconnects us from our intuition. Disconnects us from our feminine body. So of course, how are we supposed to be love? How are we supposed to be truth whenever we are conditioned out of love and truth? It's difficult, right? The best that we're getting almost are these moments of like, oh, I'm doing it. And then, oh, it worked. And then it's like the other 23 hours of the day, it's back into the conditioning struggle, the program. So there are ways that, I like to talk about it. I like to talk about this in terms of feminine energy, feminine awakenings, the polarity, feminine and masculine. But what this really, really is, on a more general level, is becoming sovereign. And the way we can do this in polarity work, in our relationships, which actually makes us incredibly feminine, is becoming more conscious and aware and coming back to that over and over and over again. And as I've been doing this, it totally opened a whole new portal of really an invitation into a deeper level of feminine, to be able to open more and more. Because if you are not holding yourself in your inner union as whole, with your own inner masculine, I should say, there's not the foundation there for you to even go there with any of this. Like, if that felt super triggering, I would take a look at your inner masculine. I actually have this ebook that I went super deep into. I never write ebooks, but I decided to. It's actually really great. It goes really, really deep into each of the kind of archetypes of your inner masculine and where they came from, how they're showing up in your life, the kind of men you're attracting. It's great. Everyone who's in Sovereign Femme already actually has this, and I want to invite you into Sovereign Femme. It's amazing. We're going to, actually this week as I'm posting this, work on coming back into that awareness and consciousness in your own inner union and how to actually do that so that you can be more in that feminine flow and reconnect yourself to not only your feminine body, but your intuition, and really see where these systems and conditioning has disconnected you from your source, from your self-sourced power. And when we do this, we bring you back into it. So there's no more confusion in relationships about, why am I not getting what I want? There's no more attracting weak men who you feel like you have to mother or nag or teach how to be masculine or coach them or any of that. You get the men that show up. You get the, in your business or whatever, career that you have. You are able to tap into this new relationship with money and wealth. And instead of like hustling for it, which is another form of conditioning, right? You get to magnetize it to you. You get to stand still. You get to be there as the magnet and have it coming to you, receiving from the divine masculine in all of the ways, money, from men, everything. And so this is you taking your feminine power back. Feminine power, different than masculine power. Really, women have been stripped of their feminine power. And so coming back to that is like a whole revolution. So I want to invite you into Sovereign Femme, where we do that. And we're going very, very deep. I know I kind of priced it as an intro level course. I probably shouldn't have, but I did, because I'm like, let's get everyone in here. And I want to invite you in too. Because this, it changes the fabric of your being. It changes how you see everything. It changes the decisions that you make. It changes your standards. Maybe it triggers a whole new wave of this feminine awakening. And I don't want you to miss out on that. So I'm going to end my rant there. Let me know in the comments what this brought up for you. Let me know what this brought up for you, because I know it brought up some things, and I'm really craving to connect with and have more women in my world who they know they have to go this deep. Like, there's no other option. There's no more indulging in the performative femininity content or anything like that. Like, we're done. We're going deep. We're going all in. And so I'd love to connect with you. See you in Sovereign Femme. And I do have one one-on-one opening right now, so feel free to look in the description below. I'll let you know how to claim that if you are desiring it. You will have to have worked with me before to some capacity, but I am opening that up because I think the time is right. So yeah, this went a little bit of a direction I didn't expect. I knew it was going to come out sooner or later. Of course it would, with Sovereign Femme in the mix. But that is quite a lot of food for thought, so I will leave that here. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.